Hello students, welcome to week 8 for COM308 Interpersonal Communication. Congratulations, you have reached the last week of class. We're in the home stretch. We have a few assignments that are due this week to kind of just help us get into the swing of what we need to do to wrap up the course. We're in the home stretch of content, just some last things we want to hit from the book that are really important to help you understand interpersonal communication more deeply. If you look at the week 8 agenda, we're in chapter 14. Our primary focus this week from this chapter will be about family communication and the dynamics of a family, more or less in how we communicate and how that spills into our interpersonal interactions with others. We have 2 TED Talks we are watching to kind of highlight and enhance some of those ideas and contentions from the text. In addition, we have 3 things due this week. So please keep in mind, firm deadlines for all assignments are Saturday. Our critical assignment presentation, which is a discussion board, is due Thursday. That's the original post. Replies are due Saturday. Discussion board number 8 is due Thursday with the replies on Saturday, as well as theory review number 4 due Saturday. So do keep that in mind as you work through the content. All course assignments are due no later than Saturday, with our discussion board original posts on Thursday instead of Friday. And that's really just to help me with grading and such. The course ends on Sunday, as we know, but grades are due in the morning on Monday. So we have a really tight turnaround with all of our course grades. So do keep that in mind. So that's why I've given us a buffer of about a day if there's some technological issues I need to help you with in terms of getting assignments in, even though we don't complete late work. There is no wiggle room for power outages, internet outages, things like that in week 8, as we have a tight turnaround with final grades. Theory review number 4, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. It's exactly like all of the other theory reviews. This time we are writing it. So you will be writing a 2 to 3 page paper about a theory from interpersonal communication. Perhaps looking at family system theories would be a smart choice. That's what we're going over in our lecture this week. So keep that in mind. Your paper will be divided into thirds. The first third will deal with a major review of the concepts from the theory you've chosen. The second third of the paper will analyze strengths and weaknesses of the theory, and then the third portion will comment on how this theory and additional outside sources you found will help you integrate this into interpersonal communication. It's just like all of the other ones, so that should be pretty self-explanatory. Your critical assignment presentation requires you to create an audio or video presentation that provides viewers with an overview of your critical assignment. So you analyzed a film and looking at interpersonal communication aspects of that film for your critical assignment paper that was due in week 7. This week you'll create a presentation that includes either a VoiceThread screencast or YouTube. It's submitted as a URL link, not an attachment or video file, that explains and provides aspects of your critical assignment paper in the presentation. So you're going to share with us what you did, what you learned from it, what you analyzed, why you found that to be relevant or not, and go over some of the major contentions or arguments from your paper with that. It is a discussion board, so it is due Thursday, your original post, and replies are due by Saturday. You are required to reply to at least 2 students in the class to kind of get an idea and see what everyone else did with their critical assignments. As we look at family communication, it's really important to keep in mind how this relates to the broad spectrum of interpersonal communication. A family consists of a network of persons, and this is the definition we're using, and a lot of comm scholars use this, is that a family is really just a network of persons who live together and support one another, or are in some way related to each other closely, maybe not by living with one another and such. So it's a group of intimates with strong ties to loyalty and emotion. It's usually defined by living situation. So when you list the member of your family, in many ways you are revealing what family means to you. There are many types of families: nuclear, blended, single parent, committed parents, things of that nature. Nuclear is the most commonly used form, which is usually dealing with a 2-parent household and children. Blended is when we have 2 people that get married and or choose to live together, because family is not defined by marriage, choose to live together and bring in children they have from other people. That would be a blended family. Or blended family would also be if two sisters decide to live with one another and they have kids, or cousins or things of that nature. Blended family is anything that's outside of a nuclear family and what you would define as immediate family. Single parent families are self-explanatory. It's where there's a one parent household that takes the primary responsibility for their children. And then committed partners are families without children. So that's important to know. So those are kind of how we define that loosely from a COM perspective. When you talk about immediate family, it's a very vague term. What I view as an immediate family may be different than what you view as immediate family, because blended families can be immediate family members as well. Again, that's defined in a very broad sense. So it's very important to look at it from that perspective. Family communication in general, one of the primary theories and what we look at in this book primarily is family systems theory. Families operate within a system that are independent on one another. And what family systems theory contends is that all communication within the family, or just all communication as a whole within the system, influence family members in many different ways. So this communication going on between siblings can influence the parents or interact with the parents or have a profound calling on the parents, as well as between siblings or married partners or things of that nature. It's very common practice. The way parents interact with each other often influences how the children feel about their parents and things of that nature. So family system theory really contends that individuals cannot be understood in isolation from the family, but rather they're connected to the family always as an emotional unit. And so if you look at this as an onion or as peeling it with a core, you'll see that the individual is at the core of this. Then they have their nuclear family. That's who they live with primarily. Nuclear in this sense is used in a loose sense, is defined as family one lives with. So that could be blended, committed partners, whatever it may be. Your extended family members are members that you consider to be part of your family, but you do not live with. Social level tends to be your close friends, work, neighbors, faith community, things of that nature. Multicultural level tends to deal with socioeconomic, cultural, ethnic, things of that nature. So when we look at it and we see that a family operates within a system, we see that the core is at the nuclear, the family one lives with. And so it's very important to see that you cannot be in isolation from that portion of your family, and everything, your emotional makeup revolves around that. And that's really important. Additionally, as we look in week 8, we do have a discussion board. The slide did not populate in the presentation, but it is a discussion board that asks you to look at the relational dialectics that could deal with conflict and things of that nature. That is due on Thursday as well, in addition to a critical assignment presentation. All replies are due on Saturday, and your theory review is also due on Saturday. If you have any questions, let me know. We are wrapping up the semester, and you've all done really well so far. I'll be going through critical assignments this week via task stream, so if there's an issue I have with that, I will contact you personally. However, do move forward to keep working through on all of our work. You've all been doing great, and I hope you've learned a lot this semester. I've really enjoyed interacting with you. Please contact me again if you have any questions, and I pray you all have a blessed week.